Hey ladies, how are we doing today? In light of recent political events in the United States of America, uh, I wanted to do a short little video today about some positive news, in history, but a bright shining moment for women in politics in history. So later on in the week, or maybe next week, we'll see, I will do a longer video about more women in politics throughout the world who were fighting for women's right to vote. So suffrage, This is really interesting topic for me, and I hope it will be for you as well. But I really think that we need more stories of amazing, badass women who don't give a fuck what the men told them to do or not to. So this is a mini episode of Who Says We Can't, where we talk about amazing women throughout history, and hopefully it can give us some inspiration and some motivation to keep going in this crazy, fucked up world that's on fire. I said it. Oh well. So today we are going to talk about Carolina Beatriz Ângelo. So maybe you haven't heard of her before. I hadn't heard of her before I started looking into the women's suffrage movements throughout the world. And I came upon her story, and I need to share it with you. So I hope you enjoy as much as I do. So Carolina, she is from Portugal. So she became a physician, which in the 1910s, early 1900s was not common. She was one of the first already in that sense. And in 1911, she became the first woman in history of Portugal to place her vote. Now, this, I think, is her story is so exciting in this way. Of course, in every country there was the first woman, but she used a loophole in the law to place her vote. So the law at the time said the head of the household could vote. Now, of course, 99.999% of the time, this was a man. But in her situation, she was a mother and a widow, essentially making her head of the household. So she went and she placed her vote using this law. It was legal, of course. There was nothing saying that she couldn't. However, then shortly after, in 1913, so 2 years later, the law was changed, of course, to clarify that a male head of household would be the one casting the vote. So, as you can imagine, this caused a lot of uproar. She was the first, the only. She changed the law. I mean, not in a great way, but it brought to attention what was the inequalities that were already existing, And unfortunately, it took many, many, many years. We fast forward to the 1970s. So women in Portugal were not given the right to vote until 1931. Now, this still came with many stipulations. It was not in equal parts of men. It was not at the same level. The vote it wasn't equal. They could vote, but it was more like a platitude than anything else. Then comes the Carnation Revolution, and this was a peaceful, bloodless revolution that took place in Portugal in 1974. Now, following this, there came lots of societal changes, lots more, human rights, things like that. And so shortly after, in 1976, this is more than 60 years after Carolina cast her vote, more than 60 years later, finally, women in Portugal were given an equal vote. in federal elections, in all elections across the country. And, you know, we can look at it two ways. We can say, oh my God, it took so long. You know, it's so hard for women. We don't have equal rights. And yes, all of that, all of those feelings that come with that, the anger, the frustration, the just sometimes you just feel like, what the fuck? What can we do? You know, like, why aren't we just humans? I don't understand. But I like to look at the story as Carolina, she had balls. She had to, in person, walk into that room full of men, run, organized, everything by men, and not really charm, but talk her way into explaining that, yes, in fact, she could. And imagine being in that situation, like face to face with this man who was saying, like, oh, what are you, woman, doing here? Like, go over there with all the other ladies having tea or whatever. And she is explaining, no, I'm here to vote. I'm the head of my household. This is the law. I admire that bravery so much. And now, fast forward to 2024, we women don't have the right to vote in all countries around the world. We do not have so many rights still in 2024. And rather than stay with that hurt, with that anger, with that feeling of what the fuck, that feeling of disillusionment of this will never get better, we are losing our rights, we are doing all of these, having all of these things to lessen our existence. So in a time that is so dark and so bleak, we need more stories like Carolina's. The first woman to vote in 1911, she was a badass and she didn't give a fuck what those men told her. This has been my short video of Who Says We Can't? I hope you like it. Mwah. Ciao.